Welcome to the latest developments in the conflict among the US, Israel, and Iran. Dear friends, the Middle East is being shaken violently after the 21st day of the uncompromising Great War between Iran and the US-Israel alliance. This is no longer a display of strength in the headlines or half-hearted actions behind the scenes of diplomacy. A true life and death confrontation has erupted where every chess piece on the geopolitical board is being pushed into the furnace of destruction. In the darkness over the Gulf, the skies above Tehran had to brace themselves to absorb a ferocious airstrike as 200 Israeli F-35s simultaneously tore through the stratosphere, dropping 1,000 guided bombs with the ambition of breaking Iran's will to resist in a single night. But what sent a chill down the spine of the entire world was not the scale of that preemptive strike, but the answer that came afterward. Iran and Hezbollah immediately launched a massive response. Wytron 200 ballistic missiles surged forward like a storm, turning the skies above Tel Aviv into a blazing battlefield and pushing defensive systems to their limits. The impact was felt across the city, placing enormous strain on military defenses and national resilience. Meanwhile, Washington was drawn deeper into the situation, facing increasing pressure as the conflict expanded. Behind the numbers and the waves of strikes, a more dangerous reality began to emerge: the shifting balance of power in the Middle East. This analysis examines the nature of the opening airstrike, the pressure placed on defensive systems, how multiple actors are shaping the battlefield, and why the situation is evolving into a complex and costly confrontation. The Hawks take off. As the clock struck 3 a.m., the region was locked in a tense stillness. Not a calm, but the kind that comes just before a major escalation. This time, the sky was torn open by a large-scale operation. Israel deployed 200 F-35 aircraft in a coordinated formation, rising into the stratosphere with stealth capabilities designed to minimize detection. This was a preemptive strike aimed at shaping the battlefield early and targeting key infrastructure. The aircraft entered Iranian airspace using stealth and electronic warfare support, attempting to penetrate layered air defenses such as the S-300 and S-400 systems. The goal was to disrupt response capability within the opening phase. Approximately 1,000 precision-guided munitions were released in a short time window. These strikes targeted strategic facilities, command centers, and missile infrastructure. Hardened sites such as Natanz and Fordo were among the most heavily targeted, along with airfields and operational hubs. The operation relied heavily on networked coordination, with aircraft linked to satellites and reconnaissance systems, enabling rapid targeting and synchronized execution. Explosions followed across multiple locations, damaging infrastructure and forcing defensive systems into emergency response. Some airfields experienced temporary disruption. However, deeply buried facilities and redundant systems remained a key factor. Underground infrastructure allowed Iran to preserve elements of its response capability despite the initial strike. As Israeli aircraft withdrew, the situation shifted rapidly. The initial strike created tactical impact, but also triggered a broader phase of escalation, a rain of fire. Shortly after, a large-scale missile response was launched. Approximately 1,200 missiles were fired from multiple locations, including underground facilities and mobile platforms. These included a mix of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and unmanned systems designed to overwhelm defenses. The attack was structured in layers. Initial waves included slower aerial targets to draw attention, followed by faster and more complex systems. This approach aimed to saturate detection and interception capabilities by increasing the volume and complexity of incoming threats. Simultaneously, additional launches from neighboring regions added pressure from multiple directions, creating a multi-axis scenario that increased the difficulty of coordinated defense. Air defense systems rely on tracking, prioritization, and interception capacity. When faced with a large number of simultaneous targets, systems can become strained, requiring rapid decision-making under pressure. Explosions were reported across multiple areas, including military and infrastructure targets. Air bases, logistics hubs, and key facilities were among those affected, contributing to operational disruption. The situation highlighted the challenges of defending against high-volume, coordinated attacks, especially when multiple types of systems are used together. At the same time, external support systems attempted to assist with interception efforts, though the scale of the attack limited overall effectiveness. The Iron Dome under pressure. For years, air defense systems such as Iron Dome have been designed to intercept short-range threats. However, no system is unlimited in capacity. Each launcher carries a finite number of interceptors, and sustained high-volume attacks can place pressure on both inventory and response rates. When large numbers of lower-cost aerial threats are introduced, they can draw defensive resources away from higher-priority targets. This creates a challenge in resource allocation during active engagement. Electronic interference and complex attack patterns can further complicate detection and tracking, especially when multiple signals overlap. These conditions can reduce efficiency and create gaps in coverage, particularly during prolonged engagements. Once defensive layers are stressed, additional incoming threats may be harder to intercept, increasing the risk of impact on critical infrastructure. This does not indicate failure of a single system, but rather highlights the realities of high-intensity conflict where multiple factors interact simultaneously. Strategic pressure. The broader situation extends beyond a single exchange. Multiple actors are involved, and the conflict is influenced by regional dynamics. Northern and southern fronts contribute additional complexity, while maritime routes and economic systems face indirect pressure. Infrastructure, trade routes, and logistics networks are key components in overall resilience. Disruptions in these areas can have significant downstream effects. At the same time, internal and external pressures influence decision-making at the national level. Washington's role. The United States faces strategic decisions regarding involvement. Increased presence, deployment of assets, and support operations all carry potential benefits and risks. Modern conflict environments include asymmetric challenges where lower-cost systems can create disproportionate effects. This creates economic and operational considerations, especially in prolonged scenarios. Regional partners also face strategic choices, balancing cooperation with broader stability concerns. The situation reflects a complex environment where outcomes are influenced by multiple variables rather than a single decisive factor. Escalation risks. As tensions increase, the range of possible scenarios expands. Strategic deterrence, regional stability, and global implications all become part of the equation. Discussions around escalation highlight the importance of decision-making under pressure and the risks associated with miscalculation. The situation underscores how modern conflicts involve not only military capability, but also coordination, adaptability, and long-term planning. The evolving landscape. This conflict illustrates broader shifts in global dynamics. Technological capability, strategic depth, and multi-layered planning all play critical roles. No single system or approach guarantees complete protection or dominance. The outcome will likely depend on how effectively each side adapts to changing conditions and manages resources over time. The situation continues to evolve, with implications that extend beyond the immediate region.